Welcome back, everybody, to Cities Skylines with Splat. In our last episode, we started a little town called Odyssey. We only got it up to about 1,500 people, but we got our basic layout going. We decided where we were going to put it. We decided what we were going to call it. And now we're ready to move on. So as I was looking through my city here, trying to decide what I wanted to do next, I came to the conclusion that yes, we need more residential, so we're going to be putting some more residential in, but for this episode, I would really like to focus on getting some districts laid out, starting to install some parks to make our town look a little more beautiful. We have a few of the pre-made park assets here, but I like to detail out some custom park districts if I could get that done. And lastly, we have this area over here that is covered in a forest. And I would love to start a little bit of a forest industry during this episode. Now, I don't know how much we're going to need because currently we just don't have any demand for industry. But of course, as you put in more residential, that is going to go up. So, first things first, we're going to upgrade all these roads. The town is starting to grow. We need to get better roads put in. These dirt roads shouldn't be here any longer. We did this originally just to save some money. So I'm just going to go around the city and I am going to use the upgrade tool and I'm going to start dropping in some actual paved roadways for our citizens to use. I'll probably just go with something basic for now. Just a regular old 2-lane road with some parking, and eventually as certain parts of the town need it, we can increase that to maybe some nicer looking roads with some medians and things like that. So I will go ahead and start doing that, and I will come back to you guys when we're all done. All right, and we are back from getting that done. As you can see, we've upgraded all of the different roads in our town. I even upgraded the walking paths just because I don't really like the gravel texture that is being used on this map. I'm gonna have to go through and like change that later and do an update. Like I can show you what I'm talking about. If I zoom in here to this city park that we put in, you can see this texture that the map creator has decided to use for the gravel roads, and it looks like they've just taken some flat 2D rock texture and pasted it on top. I really don't care for this look. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So I'm gonna have to go through later on and adjust this so that it goes back to actually looking the way it looks. Even if you go over here where they're building gravel around industry building, I do not like the pebbles. So we're gonna fix that. But we have put in roads. We have put in some extra walking paths. And later on, we're going to come through here and do some detailing, make this all look beautiful. But for now, we have a bit of demand in our city for some commercial and for some residential. Now, I originally was going to put a little industry over here because I wanted to start to spread out some of the zones in my city so that we didn't have a repeat of the situation I've had in the past where you group all of your industry together in one place and then traffic just becomes completely untenable, because you've got everybody living on one side of town and they're trying to drive to the other side of town and it just doesn't work. I wanted to mix it out, but because I've already decided later on I'm going to be putting some forestry over here in the corner where all of these trees are, I think I'm just going to go ahead and remove that industry and we're just going to fill this up with residential for now, just to get people into my city. We are going to do a little bit of commercial interspersing just to keep things nice and balanced, but this is definitely going to be mostly a residential area. So we'll go ahead and pop these in. I wonder if later on this road that's going around the mountain is going to become a more major thoroughfare. I would be curious to see how things develop, but we can always come back and fix that later. All right, and do we have water through here? We already have water. How are we doing for power? It's gonna jump across. How about our services? Medical looks fine. Fire department's only got one over there, so let's go ahead and toss one in over here. Nope. Police coverage, we've only got one over there, so let us toss a police station in over here as well, just to give these people some coverage. And how are we doing with schools? We have one elementary school for our entire place. Not quite enough capacity, so let's drop another elementary school in over here. And you know what? Eventually we're gonna need a high school. So I've got the money. Don't have the money now. Let's let this sucker run for a while until we can afford a high school. And we'll drop a high school in over in this area, because I think that's the direction that I want the city to grow for now. Also have a little bit of more demand for some commercial. Tell you what, let's go ahead and develop this area moving towards the highway. And in the process of doing that, we're going to leave some space for ourselves to have a nice municipal park in the city. And we're going to have to get more electricity too. So let me throw down some roads, throw down some pipes, throw down some water, and then we can start building a park. Here we go. Hey, look at that. We have managed to bump into Boomtown as we were building. So that's going to be fun. We're going to be able to start working on some mass transit. But let's continue on with what we were doing. All right, and we are back from putting in this new area here. So we basically filled up this area full of commercial and residential. People have been moving in. We've got some schools. We've got our fire department. We've got medical. We got education. We got everything we need. And I left a little spot here empty for a very specific reason. Because what I'd like to do right now is come through here and let's stick in a park area. We're just gonna paint this in and fill up this whole area. And what we're gonna do is we are going to start constructing ourselves a little municipal park that the people of our town can enjoy. It's not going to be very amazing to begin with, of course, because we have to level up the park to unlock some of the new structures and things, but better to get started now than waiting forever. So I think this is really going to increase the value of the land around it, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to make. Let's go into our park tab and let's start throwing things together and see what we can do. Well, that was fun. I just had a nice big crash thanks to a couple of mods that were being used, but we've gone through the whole list. We figured out what was causing it, and it turns out also one of the things that was giving me some trouble was the theme that I had chosen, and so now we're using a different theme, and I hope it still looks okay. But we were in the process of putting together a park here. We have already put in the Fairgrounds View Park area, as you can see. We'll come up with a name for that later. But for now, let's get in here and start detailing out our park. Now, in order to build a park, the first thing that we're going to need to do is put in a main gate, because the park won't actually function until a gate has been installed. So I reckon we're gonna put one here on one of these side roads. We're not gonna use the main road because that could be an issue. So why don't we put ourselves a gate for our park right here, so that as people come across the street, they will be able... Hey, congratulations. Hey, we got a park. Cool. We're just gonna grab the move it mod. We're gonna move this over a little bit just so it lines up nice and straight, and then that way people can come across the road and they can enter into our park. Nice. So now that we have that, it's time to start dumping some paths in, and we can start throwing in a few of our different assets that we have for now. I am going to come over here to the other side, and I am going to install a small park entrance over here. It already has a main gate. There's a... there we go. We're going to part a side entrance over here. We're going to grab the move it mod. We're going to move this over so that... it's right there in the middle. And we're going to start adding on some pathways. I think we're just going to have a path that connects these two for now. So I will start detailing this, and let's see what happens. All right, well, we are off to a good start with the park. I think we're going to be putting a lot more stuff in here later as the time goes by. Currently, we just don't have a lot of stuff unlocked yet, and I think we're going to come through here and add a few more things. I also got some ideas for some different assets I want to get. I've noticed that I'm missing a few of the assets that I normally play with, and so I think I want some of the trees and some things that I would normally have to make this park really just pop and look more exciting. One of the things that I like to do, and this is how they used to do, there's a park where I grew up, near where I lived, and the parks always had these rocks that were around the edges in order to keep, I guess, erosion from happening. And I personally just like the style. I do that a lot with my cities when I put parks in, and hopefully you guys like it too. If you have any suggestions on something we could do a little bit differently, let me know, and I'd be happy to take a look at that. So one of the things that we wanted to do during this episode was to also get our industry going. And as you can see down here, we are starting to get some demand for some industry. And that means it's time to start doing our forestry. And that is going to be in this area over here. So to begin with, we have to go ahead and pull up a district. And we have to start throwing districts in our industrial. So industrial specialization district. Go over here to paint and industry district. We're gonna paint all of this mountainside here. And we are going to make this a forestry area. We have to put in a forestry main building in order to actually establish this industrial area as a forestry area. So in order for that to happen, we're going to have some roads that go through this area. And I think I'm just going to use the small industry road for now. This may end up getting expanded as time goes by, but it will work for the time being. So let's just grab that. And I think we'll just hook on right about here. And we are going to run a road along the face of this mountain. And eventually it's going to swing around and it will hook into the highway. Yeah, I think I like the idea of using these rural roads in order to get in and out for now. So we're going to do that, and we're going to click on that. We're going to pop that, and we're just going to put a little road up here, not too far. I just want to have enough space to get this established as a forestry area. So we're going to drop that right there, and that's going to unlock all of the forestry stuff. And we are now good to go. We're gonna have to run water over here for sure. We'll just put that along the road here, and we'll run that up there. Might as well run that all the way across. And we're gonna have to run some power out here for the time being until we can get the city to actually grow and spread the power to that area. But that shouldn't be too bad. We'll just drop that in like so. So now what are we gonna do? Well, we got to come over here and start popping in some areas to start growing. I think I'm just gonna run a road right up there like that. We're gonna head over to the industry. We have these small tree plantations, so these are definitely gonna go in. And this is where we're going to start producing our raw materials. And then we also have a sawmill, which is going to allow us to start producing some of these luxury goods eventually. So we'll get the raw materials. We're going to chop it up into timber, and then we can sell those and we can start making money. And we're also got a small yard. We're going to have to use some warehouses and things to store. But for now, I think I just want to drop these in down this road. And we're just going to put a few of those in. All right. And then down here, we're going to drop another road in. And we're just going to run this one out just a little wise. We're going to go back to our industry, and I am going to check out some of the warehouses that I have. Now these warehouse yards are the ones that come default with Cities Skylines if you get the pack. But I'm actually a big fan of some of these warehouses that I have found on the Steam Workshop. And so I'm going to, you got one that runs kind of horizontal like this. You've got one that looks like that. And you've got one there, and they're kind of smaller. They don't take up quite as much room, which I like. And so I think I'm just gonna drop those in for now, like so. We'll just put one of those in. We will set it to take 10, no, we're not gonna do plain timber. We want this to take the zoned industry forestry products. So that is going to be keeping the wood, or the raw materials that we're getting out of these. And that's going to be taking it to that warehouse to store until we need it. And in order to make that work, we're going to need a sawmill. the sawmill is going to go right across from the warehouse, so that as the warehouse produces the raw goods, you can see these guys coming out, or as these things produce raw goods, they're going to come out, they're going to come down this hill, they're going to drop it in here until this fills up and starts producing. If it's too much stuff, it's going to go in the warehouse. And we just broke our power, so let's put that back in and make sure that we are actually powered up. We are. Okay, so that's all we need. And yeah, eventually this is going to start producing some materials for us and get us some money. Where, oh where do we want to put high school in? I'm assuming since my city is going to keep growing towards the forestry area, we are definitely going to be putting a high school over yonder. So let's start getting into that. We're just going to grab our roads. We're going to extend this out a little ways. Oh yeah, this is going to be looking up to the highway eventually, but we're not going to quite do that yet. So let's just bring this out here. We'll bring this one out here. Pop that over. Let's extend. How do I want to do this? Let's extend this one here. And we'll curve it into this other road and make it look nice. We'll drop a few more roads in. And now we have a place to put a high school. Let's grab one. Hey, high school. Everybody gets to learn. We're gonna drop that right there. You know what I think I've probably forgot to do was to provide death care for my people. I bet people are dying and they're just kind of stacking up. Yeah, I got dead people. Forgot about that. Well, let's pop one of these puppies in then. Let's go ahead and incorporate maybe this into the newer area over here. We'll stick it on the corner. That's going to break our power, so we'll have to fix that once people start moving in. The power is not going to be a problem anymore. Now we're going to need some more trash service because it never ends, it never ends, it never ends. So how about we start dropping some recycling centers in, because I really don't like the idea of using these dumps unless I absolutely have to. I don't want to put the recycling center right next to the residential area. So what do we got here? This is all residential here. This is commercial over here. So if we were to run a road off there or run it off towards the industry, we could probably get away with getting it away from the people that way. We might as well do that, and we can even look into this industry road that we put in. How big is a recycling center? All right, recycling center is 4 by, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 by 8. Okay. So let's see if we can find a nice area for this recycling center. We can keep it away from the people, but also not cause another traffic problem. Oh, we're on a slope. That looks a little weird, doesn't it? That's fine. Trucks are going in and out. Not an issue. How are we doing for garbage? Do we have enough now? Garbage processing? No, we do not have enough, so we're going to have to do more. Is it because this is full? Ah. Empty. And we need to put in more processing. I see. Let's get that done then. Maybe we can come around. Put another road here. Bring it up there. And then we use a good old move it mod and we bring him down just a bit so he doesn't. He's not. So it's like, whoa! Ah, no. You know what? He's fine. And then we're gonna drop another one right next to him if we can. This will just be recycle station. This road does look a little odd. Usually I'll move it mod and raise that up a little bit. It's not quite as a dramatic ski slope down for the trash trucks. So, how are we doing on our processing? It's getting better. Hey, look at that. Our park is growing. So, we still need to work on our garbage, but that's because the landfill is full. Yeah, we got a trash problem. We're going to need another landfill. I hate putting in landfills, but it is all we get to do. So, I really want to keep... it's a problem that we're just going to have to deal with because we don't have access to anything else. And as much as I hate landfills, you have to use them for now. So for the time being, I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to get it away from everybody else so it doesn't cause any problems, that the pollution will not be an issue. We'll run it some power, and we will let the trash trucks go do their thing. So I decided to go ahead and pick out some of my assets that I used to have, restarted the game, and came back and did another pass through on the park. And I think I am really glad that I did because, in my opinion, this looks a lot better. I'm not the best artist in the world. I just play this game for fun, but I am pretty proud of what I've got going on here. The park is not finished yet, but we are off to a great start. Got a wonderful little food section here with some tables set up where people can have a nice little snack when they come to the park. There's a bathroom, which of course you gotta have if you're gonna have food. A couple of gazebos for people to chill out in, and a playground for all the moms and dads to bring the little kiddos and let them run around like crazy people and burn off some energy. Went ahead and tossed in a basketball court just because I think a city park should have a place for some sporting events. And we got a tennis court over here. And I really like this river rock texture asset that I picked up a while back. I just had forgotten that I disabled it. Turn it back on, replaced those big clunky ugly rocks, and I think the lake area is just looking so much better. Added in some fences to make sure that it stays pristine. We got some trees blocking off the view, and most importantly though, we have upped the ticket price to get in, because if I'm going to build something beautiful, they're going to pay to use it, and they're going to happily do that, as we now have a $1,200 income. On top of a $600 expense, we are making money. So having this park, not only has it increased the property values around the town, but it has given us some income. It's kind of a nice little combination, if you ask me. We haven't quite solved all of our problems yet as far as city services go. My garbage processing is still not where it should be. I'm still using these horrible landfills, one of which is now no longer full, and this one is now full, so we're going to be emptying it. So we got to definitely figure out what we're going to do about our garbage, and I think eventually we're just going to have to turn this whole industrial area over here maybe into a services processing area. We have our recycling over here currently. That's not a bad place for it, and as we unlock better recycling, then that's probably going to get better still. We are short buyers for our products, so I think, and this is full, that means we're going to have some commercial demand as well. But that is a problem for another day. So we're going to leave it here for now. We have put in our municipal park and started detailing that as we have here. I haven't figured out what I want to call it yet, but we'll come up with a name for this. Right now it's called Fairview Grounds. Don't really care for that. The city name is Odyssey, which is reminiscent of having an adventure or going on a journey. So maybe we can come up with a good name for the park that matches the feeling of that. We have also added in our industrial area over here with the forestry that we are going to be expanding on later on up the side of this mountain, and it's called Prospect Forest Products. Again, kind of a boring name, so maybe we can figure out something better in the future. But I think for now we're just going to leave it at this. When we come back, we're going to be expanding the city even farther. We're going to be playing with putting in some different districts with some different themes. We're going to be setting things up. We're going to be connecting to the highway over here. And eventually, we're going to fill up this square. We're going to have to start expanding our city outwards. But until then, that is all we have time for today. And I appreciate you guys hanging out. And I will catch you next time. Thank you very much. Have a good one.